Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP, and today's topic is called Black Males Supposed to Settle the Sisterhood or Not? The Hypocrisy, the Tyler Perry Conversation. Again, today's topic is Black Males Supposed to Settle, but the Sisterhood are not supposed to. It's the Hypocrisy, the Tyler Perry Conversation. I wasn't gonna really do a topic on this, but then when I started looking at some of the uh, other online conversations, it was kind of halfway done, more like it was more toward the clickbait version. So I said, let me go ahead and just do my version because again, it's not about what's going on right now. It's about again a timepiece purpose. So then, as a person, maybe 2 years from now, 6 months from now, 5 years from now, somebody looks back and say, "Wow, wow, those black relationships were even more shittier at that time, and especially the sisterhood to have even more of a hatred for the American black male." And I'm not talking about the sellouts or the gullible ones that are as useless as a rock to a darn aardvark on that. But let me just relay this over. There was a book called Propaganda that was written about 100 years ago. And some of the first couple of sentences, it talked about how the intelligent manipulation of the masses is basically something that is required in a democratic society. That was written almost 100 years ago. What does that have to do with this topic? Because the intelligent manipulation of the masses relating to this topic, the sisterhood, the intelligent manipulation of the sisterhood collectively, right, is a necessity in a democratic society. Whom are the personnel that vote more in elections? Black males are members of the sisterhood. Sisterhood. So you must get a lot of sisterhood on the same accord as under white feminism. And this is what supremacist does. And this is what white feminism do when they know that a lot of sisterhood, they have no clue of what's going toward the direction of the sisterhood. This is what they do. Yes, this is what they're doing on a daily basis because they say numbers of the sisterhood have no clue of what's heading toward the direction on that. But they continue to keep thinking that American black males are supposed to just settle. But at the same time, the sisterhood can have choices. They really think they're supposed to have choices and be selective, but numbers of black males, not the sellouts or the gullible ones, and and they think the well-to-do ones, especially black males, are not supposed to have any way of being selective. Yes, this is what they're doing daily. And this is why, before I get into some of these videos, this is why I have to say that the American blacks, unfortunately, because of so many internal problems, and especially now with even more of the sisterhood of chaos, and there are no accountability thought pattern of infantile actions, that the American blacks, unfortunately, only have half a generation to one generation left before the overall complete destruction. Let me say this again, unfortunately, because of so many internal problems and this this hatred by the sisterhood toward numbers of American blacks that unfortunately the American blacks only have half a generation to one generation left for the overall complete destruction of the overall black culture. Yes. To me, this is not about how many views or how many listens that happen. I appreciate any type of listen on that. I just try to relate my information over, not because of what's right now, but if it's something that someone listens to and say, oh, okay, that makes some sense a little bit. And maybe if they share their information or something like that, or maybe 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 6 months, somebody comes across my video and say, oh, okay, came across, that was interesting on that. Now, let's go ahead and get to some of the videos I wanted to talk about. Now, keep this in mind. Remember that the American black males, I'm not talking about the sellouts or the gullible ones, right? I'm talking about the numbers of well to do black males are the ones that are just average, decent black males that are just trying to do their things in everyday life, right? Just remember that they're supposed to settle, but especially the ones that are well to do, they supposed to settle even more, right? So let me sit there and just show you this particular first video. Now, remember, now black males are supposed to just uh, settle while the sisterhood can sit there and do what they want to do when they want to do it. Give me 1 second. Find this video here. Let me find this video. Actually, I will just play this particular video first on that.
Why did I divorce my husband? I divorced my husband because I was making a certain amount of money. I divorced my husband because I thought I didn't need him anymore. I divorced my husband because I had this senior position at work and thought I held the same position at home. I divorced my husband because I thought I was better than him because I had my degree now. I divorced my husband because I thought a successful marriage meant I was here and he was down here. That is not success. That's fucking sickness. I found myself divorced and out there looking for love in all the wrong places. Fucking this one and that one and that one and that one and this one and that one. And my body count going up and my value going down. I'm just going to call it like a TI is. All the while, my husband done found somebody else building a relationship and building a life with them. I should have stayed married to my
Hold on. Let me. I gotta play it again. This is not about going over real fast and be done with it. Because remember, the sisterhood is acting like that. Numbers of American black males are just don't want to be committed to numbers of the sisters. Oh no no no. They just want to be out there having fun and sexualizing with sisterhood and just enjoying themselves. They don't be committed to the sisters. But at the same time, see a black male, American black male, again, American black male is not supposed to have any options on that, right? I'm going to remove that and play this again because I can't play this enough on that. Because remember that uh, American black males are supposed to just settle. And again, the sisterhood is supposed to be able to pick who they want to pick when they want to pick, and nobody's supposed to tell them anything. Let me play this one more time.
Why did I divorce my husband? I divorced my husband because I was making a certain amount of money. I divorced my husband because I thought I didn't need him anymore. I divorced my husband because I had this senior position at work and thought I held the same position at home. I divorced my husband because I thought I was better than him because I had my degree now. I divorced my husband because I thought a successful marriage meant I was here and he was down here. That is not success. That's fucking sickness. I found myself divorced and out there looking for love in all the wrong places. Fucking this one and that one and that one and that one and this one and that one. And my body count going up and my value going down. I'm just gonna call it like a TI is. All the while, my husband done found somebody else building a relationship and building a life with them. I should have stayed married to my.
Mm, 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 mm. Now, this is just sisterhood now with that messed up aura she has. She didn't say nothing about, oh, he was abused. She didn't say nothing about he was abusive and he was sitting there cheating left and right on her, and she didn't say none of that. She had a good black male, and it was not good enough. She based her calculations on what a good black male is based upon the net worth. But again, if black males leave a woman and she might not make as much as that black man, if he leaves her, then oh, you just utilizing, you just using black women, right? It's it's like you see on this thing. It's like get out of hell with that nonsense, right? Not listening to that. It's like get on with that. And it's a sad part because unfortunately there's just not enough uh of the sisterhood. Well, they're actually kind of lost, but there are some good American black women, beautiful numbers of American black women out there. They are. At the same time, unfortunately, they're getting smaller and they're getting more quieter, right? And addressing the issues because even with some of the extreme smaller number of sisters online that try to talk about certain things, they are getting harassed, right? And some of the sisters are trying to cancel out those sisters. And you think American black males are supposed to sit there and be settling for these type of sisterhood? Uh, I don't think so. Uh, I don't think so. And this is why I say again, the American black culture overall has half a generation to one generation left for the overall complete destruction of the American black culture. Yes, that's unfortunate. And this is what's happening. Let's continue with the next video. Let's continue with the next video on that. Now remember, the American black man is supposed to settle, but the sisterhood are not supposed to settle, right? That's the hypocrisy of that. But let's go ahead and play this next video.
Woman, you need to learn how to flip the script and make everything that man's fault. Even it don't matter what you do, you need to be able to flip it back on him. Whatever it is, I promise you, it can be turned into his fault. He needs to think that everything that's wrong is because of him. And I'm telling you, it's gonna get you everything you want every time. It never fails. This is a skill that you need to master.
Mm, mm, Let's play it one more time.
Woman, you need to learn how to flip the script and make everything that
that man's fault. Even it don't matter what you do, you need to be able to flip it back on him. Whatever it is, I promise you it can be turned into his fault. He needs to think that everything that's wrong is because of him. And I'm telling you, it's gonna get you everything you want every time. It never fails. This is a skill that you need to master.
But wait a minute, but American black males specifically are supposed to just settle, right? American black males are supposed to settle, while at the same time the sisterhood are not. That's the hypocrisy of this. All right. So let's continue with the next video. Now remember, now American black males are supposed to settle, right? But the sisterhood is not. Again, that's the hypocrisy. Let's continue. Now keep it in mind. Remember, now American black males supposed to settle, right? For anything. But the sisterhood are supposed to be able to have choices, right? To be selective, right? To get the best that they want, even though black males in the know that are well-to-do, medium income, etc., they're looking at serious sisterhood like, man, y'all come like a dozen to a package. It ain't nothing uniqueness about some good looking sisterhood, right? She has a great business. It's like, and there's another one just like you. So what? That ain't nothing new, right? There's ones out there that make minimum wage and look beyond finer than some of the ones that make a lot of money. So they be like, that ain't nothing. But in the sisterhood's infantile, childish mentality, they think they're special. Do you see the neuroticness of that? But let's continue. But remember now, but American black males specifically are supposed to settle.
Where an intense standoff unfolded over the past few hours between police and an armed robber. I'm Jeff Horchak.
And I'm Taylor Trichet. News 15's Ryan Hennessy shows us how it all ended just a short time ago and why one resident is furious with the way the situation was handled.
Well, start of another work week and another police presence out here in the heart of Lafayette. On camera, specifically, a major thoroughfare that runs through the city. Obviously, rumbles of thunder, rumbles from the police department out here on the scene. Major police presence as they went inside of the building to actually apprehend a suspect that they found. Now, she did surrender peacefully. She came out. Ambulance was on the scene here. But one local resident, one of the neighbors here, says they weren't happy with how this whole situation was handled.
It's time to pick somebody up for a warrant. I don't think I had to get this deep for a warrant. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they just really trying to abuse their authority.
We received information that we had a subject in our jurisdiction that was wanted out of Harris County, mainly Houston, Texas area, for an armed robbery that occurred within that jurisdiction. Kalisha Benjamin, 21 years of age, was here in the Lafayette area.
The SWAT team was deployed to the 200 block of South Washington Street, and Benjamin was taken into custody, but she was taken to the hospital.
So a decent, well-to-do black male, or even medium income black male, is supposed to settle for a armed robber sisterhood, right? I don't think so, right? So again, it's just a messed up scenario that again the sisterhood is supposed to not settle, have the best choices of the small number of well-to-do black males, but the sisterhood is supposed to have choices to them, even though again that sisterhood, that particular American black woman, black women, some of the ones it applies to can make over 100K a year, which is not going to be that many compared to a black male. Black males make over 100K more than the numbers of American black women. That's a reality. And even not even with that. So again, the smallest number of black males, excuse that make over 100K, and the smaller number of black women that make 100K or slightly more, a little bit more, stuff like that. And the ones that make below that make 50,000, 75,000, 45,000, 30,000. That black male is supposed to be like, oh well, he makes about 150,000 or 200,000. I'm talking about the very well-to-do ones, uh, uh, even some of them that are millionaires. Numbers of black males that are millionaires. That's not really talked about. So they're supposed to settle, right? Even though, say, this black woman makes about $120,000, uh, 120,000 gross, but this black male is a millionaire. So I guess he's supposed to just settle because she only makes 125,000 a year, right? Because that makes no sense, right? That makes no sense. But that is exactly the nonsensical childish behavior in certain sisterhoods, right? Because a black male that is a millionaire, he's supposed to settle, even though a woman making over $100,000 a year is doing well anyway, depending on where what part of the country she's at, she's doing really well, right? Depending, right? With all that college debt, a lot of them have too as well, and gigantic mortgages and rent stuff like that. That's a whole different topic. But at the same time, but they want a sucker of a black male, well-to-do black male, to sit there and he's a millionaire or he makes half a million or 10 millionaire or whatever it is. I mean, you get the point I'm getting at. But he's supposed to like, yeah, I mean, a black woman making 100,000, 120, $130,000 a year. Oh, that's real good. But that black male's making making millions of dollars a year, but he's supposed to settle for that. You know how crazy that sound, right? But it feels vice versa, right? It feels vice versa because, but first of all, a millionaire black male is not going to be looking down on some black woman who's making over 100 some thousand dollars a year. That because that makes no sense overall, right? But change the dynamic. A millionaire black woman, which ain't gonna be that many in the first place, and the guy makes $120,000 a year, should look down upon him. But remember, but the black male, he's supposed to settle. The nerve of some of these sisterhood. Continuing. Now, what I want to go ahead and get into is the Tyler Perry thing, because that definitely is something of the important part of it, right? Because when I was sitting there, I looked at the various pieces of the Tyler Perry conversation, right? It was such a nonsensicalness that however number of the sisterhood got all mad at Tyler Perry for saying something that wasn't even bad. At the same time, the sisterhood don't jump up and down has not jumped up and down on Tyler Perry when you're talking about the foundation of however movies and series is geared toward more black women's viewership. That's known about various parts of the black community. That ain't even certain numbers of other cultures. No, it's kind of logical sense, right? Because they say it's not going to be some gigantic amount of black males watching a lot of Tyler Perry series and a lot of Tyler Perry's movies collectively, right? So again, the showership would have to be toward numbers of American black women, right? So how many times has some other black males and some other people who look at outside in logical analysis will say, wait a minute now, that old Tyler Perry's move over here is kind of showing some buffoonery type black males or showing black males are not in a good light too much. And some of the series he has and some buffoonery looking black males and they show some disrespectfulness by a certain number of black women toward those black males and things like that. I'm just saying, however many times this is shown, and the sisterhood is quiet on that, right? Toward Tyler Perry. But as soon as Tyler Perry related something, what I'm about to show you, then was all hell broke loose on toward Tyler Perry by the sisterhood on something that was so innocent. But let me play you something for a second because it's not even hilarious how they focus on a piece of what he was saying, right? And misconstrued that to think that Tyler Perry was saying that black women should settle, right? Ain't that some bull crap, right? But at the same time, they didn't talk about what he was talking about before that piece, right? And even with the sister who was interviewing Tyler Perry, right? I almost went into something else with that. Let me sit down and just go ahead and play that this first video. Oh, I must hit the wrong button there. Let me play uh, this first video of two videos I'm gonna play, and I'm utilizing this as fair usage doctrine. It says again, I'm utilizing this as fair usage doctrine. Just want to see which one I want to play first. Give me 1 second here. Let me. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So for the longest, like you've seen me go through different relationships, and recently it was a night that we all went to dinner after you moderated Michelle Obama's book tour here in Atlanta, and you said, "Crystal, you are vibrating here. Yeah. Your man is here," and I was like, "Ooh, you trying to tell me I'm low vibrational, Tyler? What are you trying to say?" And I was like, "Ooh," I had to think about that. I was like, "Wow, like, am I? Well, you know what I'm saying?" You were like, "You're here, and he's up here. You gotta."
And that first part's this real fast. And so that part, because I'm utilizing this as fair usage doctrine. Uh, the sister didn't say nothing about this part that slightly predates what Tyler Perry was relaying when the sister was getting mad at him. You see, this sister at Tyler Perry was relaying over to this particular sister and how, hey, well, hey, sister, your frequency is lower, but this man or male that you're trying to get to or with, he's kind of up there in a different, plateau, right? So, but the sisterhood didn't talk about that part. They made it seem like that black women, the system, the ones it supplies to, are way up there, and they're lowering their standards to get black males, right? But at the same time, like this sister was saying herself that Tyler Perry's laying, hey, Tyler Perry was just relaying, right? Some knowledge. Hey, he's like, hey, sister, the way you come across, I'm just giving an example. You kind of at this, at this lower frequency. Not that you're a bad person, but of course not, because I won't be talking to you trying to impart some knowledge upon you. But your frequency relating to relationships is lower, and this male that you're trying to get to or in a relationship, if she's in a relationship, he's up there. So you got to bring yourself to his level. But the sisterhood didn't say nothing about that part, right? So that means the guys will have to for whatever the collective guys will have to lower themselves down to her level, right? On that because it's interesting how uh it was saying she was saying that how he's known of the different kind of relationships she's had, right? Obviously it had to be more than one, more than two, however it is, right? So what is the common denominator? It ain't just their faults. Had to be something going on with her as well, right? Not only their faults.
You got to go higher in that area too. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I probably had a gummy that night, so I was. I get super spiritual when I'm on gummies, but that sounds good. Okay, go ahead. It was real good. Just 5 milligrams of weed. That's all I can do. If I try anything else, I'd be like, no, y'all come get me. I'm going to the hospital. 5 milligrams. Yeah, 5 milligrams. But understanding, and having people meet you at your work. Yeah. That's what I was. Yes, when you said that, we were one of our many nights at your island, darling, in the King's Landing room at the table. You said, it just hit you. You probably was on the gummy there too. You was like, meet me at my work, and we were all like, wow, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And anybody who can't do that, that doesn't mean they're not worthy of you. That means that they need to either attempt, try, learn, find out enough about you to be able to figure out what that is. Yes. And that's not money because you listen. A lot of women, especially black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will. In our society right now,
black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men, right? They're
which is overall not true, right? That is a little white lie. Statistics show that, and again, just like the mythological wage gap, inequality nonsense, right? They don't take an account of racial, gender, inequality, right? They just play generically little silly infantile tactics that unfortunately a lot of sisterhood believe, and a lot of white feminism play little silly games with nominal sisterhood, and they don't get it, as if white feminism give a damn about the sisterhood, and they do not on that, which is a different topic in itself. So I make that point, relating to what he's talking about. That is dependent upon what area of jobs, what area of industry, right? The majority of industries, of work industries, etc., career industries, the majority is going to be black males. I mean, males in general, but there will be more black males in various parts of more industries than black women. So how in the hell can they sit there, black women make more money than black males collectively? And so it's not even broken down by the majority of jobs, majority of careers is going to be held by more black males and black women, right? There's a small number of fields that predominantly black males, black women get into, right? But at the same time, so what he said was not necessarily true. It was a little white truth, little white lie truth on that, with some truth on that.
a lot of black men who are successful, but for the most part, black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works, at whatever job, and is a good man and is good to you, and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can, because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you can have the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then. That is fine.
Yeah.
And the sisterhood got into a sisterhood uproar. And they made it seem like that Tyler Perry was saying to the sisterhood that y'all need to settle. If you are making all that money, right? You got your own super business going on. You are in certain type of industries, and you're making this more money, more than black males. You know what? And you sitting there paying all it ain't you paying all these different mortgages and mortgage, excuse me. You paying the majority of the car payment, you paying the majority of the bills, and he's paying a bill or something like that, as if that's so. The thing about it, even with that, it's kind of a insultingness overall that some people will look at that, because it's like, first of all, there's not going to be a gigantic amount of very well-to-do black women that's going to sit there and allow a black male to reside in her big, very nice house, or big, nice apartment, or a loft, or what do you want to call it, right? So that's kind of not even true what he's saying overall, and things like that. But regardless, the way that he relayed over, and the sisterhood got so mad at him, as if he was saying, "Hey, sister, if you making this, say for instance, the sister, she's making $110,000 a year, gross, right? And say for instance, the guy is making 40,000, as if that's some slouch change, right? When you look at the average wage, the majority of black males do not make $40,000 a year themselves. I'm talking about the average. I'm talking about, let alone, let's say 50,000. The majority of black males don't make $50,000 a year. The majority of black females don't make $50,000 a year, right? But the sisterhood act as if, say for instance, a black woman, a sisterhood version, makes about $110,000 a year. That if this guy makes $40,000 a year, oh, she's settling. Do you see the nonsense of that? Because if it was vice versa, well, I don't want to go there. 'Cause I'm getting ahead of schedule, because it's one of the last videos I want to show about that. Also puts its perspective. But this terminology was somewhat insulting in the way that the sisterhood took that exactly the wrong way. As again, that black males are, if a sister makes 110,000, well, he needs to make 110,000. If she makes 150,000, he needs to make $150,000 or at least more. Because if he makes 40,000, 50,000, 75,000, as again, making 75,000, 80,000 is some kind of slouch in the job. A slouchiness when the majority of black males don't even make about 45,000. That's the majority. You see this nonsense? It's almost like an entitlement, right? That if she makes 110,000, 120, 150, 200,000, I'm just giving an example, that she can't go below that based upon uh, 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 the net worth, right, of the guy, right, the amount of whatever he makes per year. If it goes below her overall uh, 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 rate of which she's getting paid, 110,000, 125, 140,000, she cannot go way below that. So again, he makes 40,000, 45,000, 50,000. Oh, she makes 125,000. Oh, she's settling. But if the guy's doing that, then he's not selling. I mean, get the hell out of here with that kind of game. But continuing.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's so hard for a lot of people to take in because that means no. I need somebody to who is. They need to make 5 times more, and I got to have. Well, but don't keep your list, baby.
Yeah.
God bless you. Hope it happens. Don't keep your list. But when you talk about just someone to love you and support you, I know people who have whose men can't touch what they make. But when you see them together, that love, that support, that I got you, babe, it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
But it's funny how many black males out there make 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6, 7, 8, 9 times more than that black woman. I'm just giving an example, right? I'm just giving an example. Say 2 times that amount, or 3 times that amount, or 4 times the amount of that black woman. And look at how many, I don't even like using this example, except how many black celebrities, how many black sports figures, multi-millionaires, and they get with black women that don't even come even a tenth of what they make. A tenth, right? Or 20% of what he makes. So if he's making $10 million a year, and you do your own math, and she's not even coming up 10% of the 10 million that he's making per year. If he's making $25 million a year, or say he got a contract for, I'm just giving an example, $80 million for the next 4 years, and she's not even making even 40% of what he makes, right? But at the same time, it's supposed to be okay if he gets with a sisterhood while he's making that kind of money. But if it's vice versa and she's making a nice amount of money, but if she gets below him, or if he's below her, tens of thousands of dollars a year, then she's selling. Get the hell out of here with that game. But continuing on that, let me continue.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
I remember I was having a conversation with you, and I was going. I can admit that I had fallen under that. Like, okay, I actually may have misunderstood what meet me at my worst meant. I thought meet me at my work was meet me at my network.
My network, right. No, not your network.
Right.
At least meet me at my network.
Okay.
You see what she said? Her net
I was
worth,
talking to you, I
her
was like, I was
confusion.
like this, and I've done this, and you're like,
Not
wait.
personally, but her confusion
Stop.
mentality.
He was like, don't make it about money. And this is when I was like, oh my gosh, like it was like it just went off, and I was like, I see what you're saying. You were like, Chris, I used to do the same thing. I would like be doing all these things for someone or people around me, and I'm like, I'm not getting anything in return, And we fall into that sometimes. And you said, but then I thought about it, they can't do for me the way I do for you.
No.
It's just like they can't.
No.
When you explain it like that, if he is giving you all these other things, then that's something you work with. And I literally completely misconstrued what me being my worst man in that moment. But work is more than that.
Right.
You know, and that's
Right.
when I was like, wow, like this is way deeper.
Yeah, you got to remove the money from the situation
Yeah.
because it's just going to cloud it.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. That, see, and some things he relayed over was really good on that situation. There were some things he was saying that was good, and some other things that were not. But it's just the thing about it, and we'll play this quick part two. Again, I'm utilizing this as fair use of doctrine. It was such nonsensical how some of the sisterhood got mad at Tyler Perry for the small clip, a piece of that, right? That if she's making more and say she's paying the bulk of whatever that she's paying, they're paying. Well, as long as if he can pay one bill or take them out, every so often, hey, that should be okay. I mean, as long as they're long as as long as that black woman understands that her worth is not tacked in, or his worth is not tacked into how much he makes, right? Yeah, that's logical sense. It should be that, but the sisterhood was mad about that, thinking he was trying to tell sisters that to settle, right? If she makes again 125,000, 150,000, which is very minute amount of black women that make that kind of money, regardless. But if he makes 40,000, 45,000, 75,000, 80,000, oh my goodness, that's selling. It's very sad, right? On that. Now again, Fireplace last one relating to Tyler Perry is that you heard in the first piece of the video, right? When they was relaying how the sister was talking about how Tyler Perry was relaying, or Tyler Perry was relaying, but the sister was talking about how Tyler Perry was trying to throw her some knowledge and wisdom. It's like, hey, sister, but however males are males, or relationship she's in, or was, however it was, that if he's at this higher level, and but sister, but if you, but your frequency is kind of low, and you saw her show the gesture of him relaying, hey sister, but if you on that lower frequency level and he's up there, you need to she understood, hey, she needs to catch up with his level, right? The sisterhood said nothing about that, how she need to catch up with whoever the guy or guys level, right? And that they apparently were doing selling to get with her. They bypassed that completely, the sisterhood, and went right past that and went right to the next segment where he was talking about is basically if the sisterhood makes more than the male, right? That she shouldn't settle. See, that's bull crap. But that's understandable. But that's the silliness and infantile tactics of a lot of sisterhood, right? They're warped. They're warped, and they don't understand the destruction that's headed toward their direction. Because many black males are not going to tolerate and listen to this crowd too much longer. Well, many of them just saying, man, forget that. They checking out, saying, I ain't got to waste my time with that. It's too many other women to talk to. And so the sister gets mad because they don't like a black male that understands his worth. I'm not talking about monetarily worth. Here's the thing about it. Oh, they don't like when the brothers um, that have their passports or considering passports, and they talk to other brothers that have been traveling and expatting themselves in different places, and they sit there and tell them, "Hey, man, what you make 40,000? Oh, this sister's making 85,000. She thinks her ass is all that, or say she makes 100,000, 125,000. Her ass thinks she's all of that. But again, that large freaking college debt she has, making 125, $150,000 a year, which is very rare. They do, but they got this large college debt. They got this big old giant mortgage, gigantic car payments. Well, she paid her car payment off. Stop. Go to hell with that. She still got a large. For many of them, they do not, and so they still got this high freaking rent. right? Especially depending on where they're residing at, the part of the country. But they got this high rent or the high mortgage, right? So they make 125, $150,000. Well, that high freaking mortgage, that high college debt, man, that's those things start eating down definitely what she's actually going to be netting. But that black male who makes say 40, the American black male who makes about 40,000 or numbers of other, well, so that black male makes about 40,000, 45,000. I'm just saying that level. If he makes 50,000 or whatever it is, 60,000, 75,000, and he gets with some other guys who can impart some knowledge and say, hey man, but if you go to this country, man, over here, you will be in the top 5%, the top 1% of the people in that country. And that black male says, "What? Wait a minute! I make 40,000." This other black male says, "I make 45,000." This other black male says he makes about 80,000. This black male says, "I make about well, I only make about 35,000." This other black male says he's made 65,000. And somebody said, "Man, I don't care what, man. Don't, man. You go to another country, man, you go to another country, man, and conversion rate, man, it's like two times what you're making, three times, four times, depending on where you go. But I'm just saying, regardless, depending on what you go, you make 40,000, 50,000. This guy said he makes about 60,000. You go to another country, you may be making 100,000. Incomparable. Depending on what your other country, you may be three times. I'm just giving an example of that. More than that, it just depends, but somebody making 40,000, 45, 50,000 minimum, and they go to certain other countries, they be like the top 1% or 5%. And the sisterhood don't like that. They don't want more black males to understand the leverage that they have in many other countries. The sisterhood want to control black males specifically in this country. They want to look down upon black males who don't make as much of them, but the black male is supposed to settle. And the black male who does very well, right? Say he makes up 100,000, or he's a millionaire, he half a millionaire, or he makes a quarter of a million. He's supposed to settle. Man, get the hell out of here with that nonsense game. So let me play this one last video with Tyler Perry on that. Give me 1 second here. 1 second. Uh,
Yeah, I like to ask that question because a lot of times when people see us where we are now, it's like, where did that start? So I definitely wanted to touch on that.
I know you can't just say this about God and faith. I know the world is changing and people are getting away from so many things, and it makes sense because of what church has become. But my whole hope is that if people have a relationship with God and believing that they never ever equate that to something that man is, because they will always let you down. Preacher.
mm, mm, mm. Let's rewind
A
that.
lot of times when people see us where we are now, it's like, where did that start? So I definitely wanted to touch on that.
I know you can't just say this about God and faith. I know the world is changing and people are getting away from so many things, and it makes sense because
Fair usage doctrine. I'm utilizing this as fair usage doctrine.
of what church has become. But my whole hope is that if people have a relationship with God and believing that they never ever equate that to something that man is, because they will always let you down. Preacher.
My goodness. Now that would be insulting to quite a number of black males, right? It's for some to understand. Okay, I got it. He's saying depending on what your belief is. If he's saying you're going toward the Christian way, which is a whole different terminology, because it's like, okay, based upon the fundamentals of Christianity, you would do the what would Jesus do, right? We're not talking about perfection, but you would try to practice the fruits of Christianity, and nowhere does Christianity and the fruits of Christianity was supposed to be about following examples of Christ, right? Was Christ sitting there rich? Of course not. Was Christ sitting there looking down upon people if he felt that they didn't make that kind of money? Of course not. There was Christ over 2,000 years ago? If he came across somebody, residents, and did he look down if it looked kind of dirty in there and stuff like that? Of course not. So again, that is also the hypocrisy of quite a number of sisterhood, especially ones that call themselves Christian, but at the same time you look down upon a black male, say that makes less than the sisterhood. That is not Christian. That is not Christian fundamentals on that, right? That is some hypocrisy bull crap. And again, depending on what the beliefs that Almighty God source sees that kind of stuff, right? Because it's like, so the sister, and don't let this sister go to church and all the kind of stuff every Sunday, or she's going to Bible school, study wherever it is once a week, or depending. I'm just giving an example, but she goes to church once a week or every other week, and attends different functions of the church. At the same time, say she makes 125,000, 150,000, 85,000. But at the same time, this guy in church, he's interested, want to talk to, or maybe this guy's not from the church, but he makes maybe 40,000, right, or maybe 30,000, or maybe 45,000, and she makes again 80,000, 100,000, 125, 150,000. I'm just giving an example, but he's a good black male, right? How many times she's not going to deal with him, right? Because she makes more money than him. But she's in a church. That is an hypocrisy. That is such an hypocrisy, excuse me. And it's very warped, right? It's very warped on that. And so, like on this situation again with Tyler Perry in this particular last video that I just showed, the sisterhood didn't say nothing about that part. That part predates the other part, right? You saw what he was talking about, how he understands certain things going to church, and that kind of leads people away from certain things. I'm not talking about the good numbers of personnel that do their church thing, continue what you're doing, but there obviously is some things going to church that definitely need to be revitalized and corrected for many different parts. It's probably not, because certain things are ingrained. So you just hope to be able to come across some other church personnel that has some similar like-mindedness, not perfection, but that you can listen to and bond with some other different people. And hopefully they can go that direction and go that and see how it goes. But the point is that you see how he relayed, hey man, you have your own personal relationship with God, but same time, it's not about the man, because they'll let you know how many will let you down, how many pastors will let you down, how many man pastors will let you down, how many man priests will let you down. Oh, but he didn't say nothing about how many women pastors let people down, right? How many women pastors that do some corruption situations? I'm just saying the ones who know they are. So I'm just giving an example of that. He didn't say nothing about that, did he? Right? And she surely didn't say, "Hey, Tyler Perry. Well, it's not just the male. There's also some women pastors out there that kind of get greedy too, and you have to kind of watch them a little too. Some of them might be corrupted, some are corrupted." She didn't say that because she understood what her bread and butter is. So, because again, the sisterhood didn't say nothing about that part, right? Which could have been construed as an insulting toward numbers of males. The way he came across and said that, have your relationship between God and self, but don't put basically your apples in, put your apples in that basket toward basically numbers of male pastors, because numbers of male pastors, male priests, because they'll let you down. Do you see how that sound, right? I'm talking about the ones, I'm talking about in the generality of how that would come across. The sisterhood didn't say, "Oh, Tyler Perry, you shouldn't be talking like that." There's a lot of good pastors out there, and there are some good pastors out there, some good priests out there, right? But Tyler Perry, you didn't hear him say anything about that, right? Did you? No, right? But the sisterhood didn't come to, especially black males, uh, black male's realm in the notes or toward Tyler Perry saying, "Hey, don't be talking bad about black male pastors. There's some good ones." Nope. But as soon as he sit there and talked about, hey, certain sisters, it's not settling if you make more money than he does, but if he can pay a bill or two, or if he can take you out every so often, they misconstrue that as settling. You see how the hypocrisy goes on this, right? On that. So, and even this sister that he's talking to, Tyler Perry helped her ass out. However many times Tyler Perry helped her ass get her damn big break, right? When he gave her an opportunity when he found out that, hey, she was doing some auditioning, different things like that, and he really didn't know, and all of a sudden he found out about that, he gave her an opportunity, right? He said, hey, it's a small part. At the same time, you can audition for it, and if you do, go out there and do your thing, and we'll go from there. Tyler Perry helped her ass out, right? But at the same damn time, the sisterhood didn't say anything about, oh, well, Tyler Perry said they helped this sister out, and how many other sisterhood has Tyler Perry helped out, left and right? Right? Tyler Perry's way the hell up there in gigantic money status, and this sisterhood was was actually been low level money making, whatever she was doing beforehand, right? But he came down to her damn level to help her ass out, right? But the sisterhood didn't talk about that part. They only heard about, oh, Tyler Perry talking about how sisters don't, sisters, it's not selling if you make more money than him. Just hypocrisy. And this is why I say again that the American black relationships overall have half a generation to one generation left before the overall complete destruction of the overall black culture. And again, many numbers of black males are saying to hell with this. They are not going to tolerate numbers of black women's sisterhood, the ones that this applies to. They saying that they don't have to settle for black sisterhood mentality. Their mouths, their attitudes, their shitty mentalities toward the black male, toward the ones it applies to. They say they don't have to tolerate that shit, right? There's too many women around this damn planet for black males that do well to settle for that nonsense. And then you hear numbers of black women that are the ones that applies to the sisterhood, and since they cannot have accountability because they can't, it's virtually impossible for them to do that because they've been so. It's been at least 50 years, at least minimum 50 years, that white feminism has struck the nerve within certain parts of numbers of the sisterhood, right? And so it's like, well, I can do a lot of stuff myself. I don't need no man, right? And so, but that's a whole different topic because white feminism just messed the hell up over numbers of black women, quite a number of black women's mindset going into the 1970s into present 2023. And quite a number of black women don't understand that how the hell they being used. But it is too late mathematically, equationally, it is too late. And those the black women, they have had free reign for so long that they've gotten too ingrained with their greediness and wanting to control black males. And so they want to keep black males pedestalizing them. If they were very well to do, didn't make no difference. They wanted black males to pedestalize them. And so, but at the same time, if they were, making, some decent average um, pay, but the black woman was making more than him. They want to talk bad about him, and he doesn't have goals and aspirations. But at the same time, when it's vice versa, then it's quietness from the sisterhood, right? That black male is supposed to settle. Man, to hell with that. And numbers of black males are getting tired of this crap. And so, what do the sisterhood of chaos do? They get mad and say, "Oh, black males, they can't handle a strong sister." We get the hell out of here with that game plan, right? On that. That stuff only works on suckers, right? Stuff like that. Not reality thinking black males are saying, y'all can get the hell out of here with that nonsense. That none of the American black males know that game more and more. But unfortunately, there's still quite a number of sellouts and gullible ones that don't get it. But there is more and more numbers of black males that saying to hell with numbers of sisterhood, that they're not going to tolerate disrespect. They don't need to. This is becoming more of a global network in various parts of the world, and black numbers of black males saying they do not have to damn settle, and they don't have to. They shouldn't have to. So last video I'm going to show, which also sets this closing part up, because it was very powerful. It was a very powerful thing. So I'm just going to show this one last thing, because this really was a powerful, very simple and to the point. About I want to see one minute. Last one. Okay, here we go.
Many women say they are finding it very hard to find a man who makes as much as they do. That the country's declining marriage rate is due to the lack of financially eligible bachelors. Researchers say they are seeing a trend of women dating down, which means, a man who, this is just the reality of it. So women, we're more educated now. We're going to hold off on the baby making. We're going to hold off until we get that great job. Really career driven. And I don't think there's anything wrong with hoping that there's someone either on your level or higher than you.
So before, right, it was okay when the man made more money to be the one to buy everything, to do, treat you and all this other kind of stuff. And now that you make more money, you can't be that one because you're dating down. I hate that. What is that? If there's a responsibility that comes with making more money, accept it. You wanted to make more money, right? Are you gonna find?
Yes. The American black culture, modern day relationships only have half a generation to one generation left before the overall complete destruction of the overall black culture. When I sit there and play this last video, which I want to play this one last time because to me it was such a simplicity in this. You see how the sister, nice looking sister, walked over to whatever the little desk that they were going to, and the white female, very quiet. She knows what's going on. She know how it sound because that white female knows. Wait a minute now for a second, silly woman. I'm not saying she's saying that, but the ones who know, they said, wait a minute, silly black woman, who are saying silly stuff like this. They said, wait a minute, you do realize in the 60s, which was a long time ago, that how many numbers of white females couldn't stand your guts and how many still can't stand your guts now. They said, wait a minute now, how many white females in the 60s and prior to that, which wasn't a long time ago, that were withdrawing their kids from the schools that so they wouldn't have black kids around little white kids, right? Does she not? And so the number of white females, they understand the silliness of certain numbers of sisters who don't even know history, right? As if there's some kind of racial gender equality, right? Different topic, but see the white female, she was quiet on the show because she knew what was going on. And then see the white male in there, he's very quiet a little bit until what? The black male that knew what the game was. And he could, it's like he just like, look, man, I'm gonna be quiet on this. But then after he heard the way it came across, it was like almost like an insult, right? It's like, wait a minute for a second. So I'm relaying to black males on this. So a decent, well-to-do black male or a decent, average making black male, right? Um, oh no, that's wrong example. So you're talking about a few generations ago only, where a black male would have been the gigantic breadwinner of the family. And that black woman, I'm saying collectively, will have stayed home on that to take care of the child or children the way that they would have wanted the child to be raised, right? And then it can go from there to continue to keep having the woman at the house by their agreement, or then as they got older, the children that they put them in some kind of other school on that uh, and stuff like that. But collectively, where the black male was the primary breadwinner, and how many black males definitely made more money than black women. And I'm talking about right before they got married. So when that black male saw this black woman, say a couple of generations ago, and prior to that, he's having a conversation with her. One of the first things he wasn't talking about, of trying to find out of how much she makes, or what is her goals, what is her aspirations. He saw someone that was good looking. He had a conversation with her. He felt this is someone I would like to get to know. And if it went further, significant relationship, and it comes down to the marriage part and stuff like that, he wasn't thinking about, oh man, well, I make more money than her. Oh man, she needs to step up her game to get to my level financially. Do you see how infantile and childish that would sound? But like this guy, like the black male sins, and he got it. He got it. And it's definitely a need for more black males to get that, right? It's not enough. A little bit more have it, but quite a number don't have it. He made it very, let's just play this again. Man, that was so, and that's the last video I'm going to show you on this because it was very poignant what he said. Very poignant.
Many women say they are finding it very hard to find a man who makes as much as they do. That the country's declining marriage rate is due to the lack of financially eligible bachelors. Researchers say they are seeing a trend of women dating down, which means, a man who, this is just the reality of it. So women, we're more educated now. We're going to hold off on the baby making. We're going to hold off until we get that great job. Really career driven. And I don't think there's anything wrong with hoping that there's someone either on your level or higher than you.
So before, right, it was okay when the man made more money to be the one to buy everything, to do, treat you and all this other kind of stuff. And now that you make more money, you can't be that one because you're dating down. I hate that.
Ooh, my goodness, that was some awesomeness of how that sounded. And it was such a nonsense. I don't know if she's reading off a board or she kind of did some ad libbing. Either way, it was still nonsensical and idiotic. And the way that she relayed over women, the ignorance of that, right? Because see, supremacists, this is what supremacists are doing when they hear black women talk nonsense like that. That's what they doing because she just said generically women, right? And it's like, hey, fool, you do realize that white women are in the category of white, which somebody say, somebody be like, well, why you got, well, I don't know why, people got to be bringing race into stuff because think about it, why you got to bring race into it? Because the thing about it, I ain't got a thing to do with racial issues and stuff like that. But I don't know why some people they like to be trying to bring race into issues and stuff like that. Let me. Why they got to be doing that? And those a black woman don't even understand, right? What's coming soon. But the thing about it in closing, there will be some numbers of white females and some others that was like, why you got to bring up race and stuff like that? No, because it's not all white that person go to hell with that game. Because again, who created the racial categories? Personnel within the Padamese culture. So that person go to hell trying to play that game. And so the sister, when she was talking about how, well, women, and then that white woman, she knows what's going on, and how many of those other white women knowing. I got a question for you. Do you think that white woman and that black woman makes the same pay? You best believe most likely they do not. You think that black male and that white male makes the same amount of pay? You best believe not. You think that black woman makes the same amount of money as that white male? Of course not. Right? But see, again, she's just saying women. And then, how many women within the Panamanian culture will laugh at her ignorance? It'd be like, hey, fool, you do realize white women make more money than black women. You do realize that. So y'all can talk about y'all get all this education and all that stuff. They'd be like, so the hell what? Negro, animal. You got all the education, has most damn college debt in proportion and stuff like that. has the most loud mouth and telling people how how independent your ass is, stuff like that. See, numbers of women within the polyamorous culture, many of them can't stand numbers of white males and stuff like that because they want to control numbers of white males. And but at the same time, they understand that when it comes down to it, that economically it's more feasible and socially to sit there and still segregate themselves to other black, I mean, other to segregate themselves to white males, right? They understand that they can talk nonsense all they want, but overall, they understand where the bread and butter comes from. They understand where the protection comes from overall for men within the predominant culture, right? Now, feminism, white feminism overall, they want more hatred toward their own males within the predominant culture, but that's a different topic. But here it is: the black female or number of sisterhood, the gullibleness and nonsensical behavior that a lot of sisterhoods are, they'll say generically women. And again, I've just relayed more white women make more money than black women. But you see this foolish mentality sister was saying that, oh, well, women, well, we just, women, hey, we just want to hold off and the baby making and get our career started. Uh-huh. So again, change the dynamic. Black male saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to have any kind of kids right now. I want to focus on my career. I got 10-year goals, 15-year goals. I want to get to first. Yes, they can get to relationships and we can do adult things because as long as it's consensual. Hey, we can do all that kind of stuff, but I can't get in kind of serious relationship. I can't get in kind of marriages. I don't want to do any committed relationships because I got things to do in my life. I just want to focus on my career. Then you have the sisterhood saying, oh, he's just using black women. No, a black male don't want to be committed to women. Get the hell out of here with that game. See, I know this stuff too damn well, right? It's okay for black women, sisterhood overall, to be selective and focus on their career and hold off on the baby making and stuff like that. But and that's supposed to be accepted by black males no matter what, if they're well-to-do, if they're millionaires or whatever it is, and 40 making 40,000, 45,000, 35,000, 75,000, and say that black woman makes more money, then that black male is supposed to respect her, right? Stuff like that, and just do what the hell she wants to do. So if she wants to date somebody at whatever level, that's her damn choice, right? But most likely she makes more than she's not supposed to date down. But a black male, if he's a multimillionaire, be it sports or non-sports, right? If he's well-to-do, black male and stuff like that, or if he's a decent, average, working black male, he makes a decent salary, but at the same time, but if he makes more money than her, he's supposed to date down. Boy, this is a bunch of bull crap that's so easily seen through, right? And this is why I say again, the sisterhood of chaos, sister of chaos, uh, their numbers are dwindling relating to relationship status because more black males are not going to put up with this shit, more and more. Unfortunately, you have some white savior, black male, gullible, simpish ass numbers of black males out there that don't get it. They're being used. But it is such a open mindedness that numbers of black males are seeing more and more like they don't have to damn settle themselves, right? Because again, the hypocrisy, a black male that makes a decent living, he's supposed to settle. But a black woman who makes a decent amount of money, she ain't supposed to settle. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense game. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.